Well, since it really has been 10 years since I've done anything with oils, I'm going to try to start small. A little dab of yellow ochre, a tinier dab of vermilion, actually probably too much, and my panel, and I'm just going to do a warm imprimatura, which is, you're starting with, this is just a, already making mistakes, okay. This is really just a very cheap cardboard canvas board for oil and acrylic. So it's just a practice board. It's got a little kind of covering of canvas on it to give it some texture, and I've put 2 layers of acrylic gesso on. So here we go. And I'm going to take some yellow ochre, thin down a little bit with some turpentine in my little clippy cup things here. There we go. And we want it to be thin. Yellow ochre is a sort of a dark, slightly dull yellow. This is probably duller than I'm used to. And I'm going to take a little dab of vermilion to warm it up. And mix. And I'm already breaking the rules. Andrea was very insistent, never mix colors with your brush, always do it with a palette knife. And we're going to thin it quite a lot. And let's see, maybe a little bit more red. Maybe not that much. Okay. One of the things I've noticed about looking at the Bruegel paintings that I've been examining closely with their wonderful digital photography of sort of super close-up, super-duper close-up, high-resolution photos, is that Bruegel's paintings, even in the parts that are not yellow in the final paintings, or even sort of areas that are blue, like the robes of the angels and stuff, all of them benefit a great deal from a yellow ochre underpainting. If you look at the photographs up very, very close, you can see just peeking out from his rather loose brushwork. It's almost, if you look at it very closely, almost impressionistic brushwork. You can see the little dabs of yellow ochre peeking out. And that gives, as it does with iconography, that gives the whole painting a really appealing look of glowiness, like it has a sort of an inner light that is really, it's very nice. There we go. You don't want an imprimatura to be too opaque, but it does need to cover completely and more or less evenly. I'm using my worst brush for this. I don't even know where it came from. Yeah, I have no idea. So I'm going to start with yellow ochre and vermilion mix for an imprimatura. And then I think I'll decide what to paint on it. I don't even know yet. Maybe a pot of flowers. But, well, yeah, that's true. I got a really pretty, oh dear, blue glass vase. And it's definitely the time of year for late wildflowers. Everything in Narni around here is having its second spring, I call it. In September, the heat goes off, usually. So it's not 40 degrees every day. It's more back down to seasonal norms of maybe no higher than 75, actually. I think it's cooler than usual for September. Come on, get up there. And what happens is the local wildflowers that had just gone dormant because of the extreme heat of summer, and because of the drought, so you just did not have a single drop of rain all summer long. have suddenly burst out again, and all the plants are doing their little last-ditch burst of new growth and greenery, and there's just wildflowers everywhere. On the walk between here and the convent from Mass, it's one of my favorite little hikes through the trail in the woods. The cyclamen, just delightful little pink-backed flowers of cyclamen, have just come out again, and as they had in the spring, and the whole forest is just absolutely carpeted with them. They're the most gorgeous little things. And it's quite difficult to get a photograph of them because my stupid crummy camera phone doesn't really distinguish between the little light-colored dabs of purple flowers and all the other kind of surrounding light little dabs. So it's really hard to get a picture of them, and I would love to get a painting of some cyclamen. Maybe that's haunting. Anyway, there it is. I have done an imprimatura with my oil paints, and I feel a little bit like I've started conquering a dragon. Even when I was in classes, taking oil painting classes, I found oils to be very, very intimidating. I was actually kind of scared of painting. I was quite used to doing drawings and didn't have any problem doing complex drawings, but paint just really scared me. I don't know why. But I must say, it's really nice to have that fragrance, that smell of turpentine, linseed oil in the room, because if for no other reason, it really brings me back to my childhood, because my grandma painted, and boy, you know how certain scents can really trigger memory. I gotta say, oil paint is one of the happiest of my childhood memories. So maybe I'll get over my fears. I'll try anyway.